Hi, welcome to KXAN Plus. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and we have our What's Driving You Crazy episode here today with our traffic expert, Erica Brennes. Erica, thanks for joining me. How you doing?
Good, hanging in there, trucking right along, month of February. I'm like, I've got spring break already on the mind.
I know,
Yeah,
right? We were just talking about how the kiddos are back in school after that holiday on Monday,
I
and you can
know.
tell on the road.
You can tell. It's weird. Okay, not that I'm like trying to open a can of worms, but like there is something odd happening with the morning commute lately where it's
I
like
know.
bad, but not as bad, like in some areas. And I'm like, what's happening right now? But then like the evening commute is bananas. Like bonkers evening commute.
Going south, going north, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter at night. But then like the morning is like
Quiet.
I'm like, they're not gonna make me change my shift or something, right?
That would
Like, Erica,
stink.
we're gonna need you to do evening traffic now. I'd be like, anyways, yeah. Yeah, busier, but we've seen it worse than it
Yes.
was this morning. So we'll take it.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it
Yeah.
worse. So today, what do you have for us? We're talking traffic. We're talking upgrades, updates to construction.
I know. So, okay, this is a project that has been many, many years in the discussion. This dates before the pandemic, and we are talking about the Mopac South Project. And so essentially, like when I started at KXAN in 2022, this was one of the first things I'm like, I want to talk about Mopac South because I lived down there and I was like, where does this stand? This was part of the conversation. And then I've heard nothing. And like North Mopac has its own express lane. 183 is getting their express lane. You've got 183A. I mean, and I was like jealous of everything up in North Austin, which I still am because they also have all the really good playgrounds and like indoor playgrounds and
And the
like
water parks.
water. Anyways,
Yeah.
I digress. But then I actually looked at the numbers, like the traffic count, and was like, oh, okay, well, there are far more people using the north side of Mopac and like Northwest Austin 183 than use down in South Austin. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. However,
There's a reason behind it.
there's a method to the madness. I know. However, like at the end of the day, South Austin is only growing. You have so many people that drive in from Hayes County, even. Um, so it's still happening, okay? Or at least it's in the conversation. I think this is probably a long-term discussion that will continue before we see the green light officially and like ground broken on Mopac South. But yeah, that's the future. Some toll lanes in South Austin.
Well, we need them, especially in South Austin. When I'm trying to get to San Antonio or even home to the valley, I don't want to take 35 and I don't want to
I
take
know.
the toll road that we have right now because it's always congested.
Girl, you're preaching to the choir. I think a lot of people feel that way, which is why it is still in the conversation, despite the fact that there has been some setbacks. There was lawsuits. It's like pre-pandemic. It just kind of once the pandemic hit, it sort of just like went to bed,
Mm-hmm.
along with so much other stuff. But it's picking back up. So basically, just this week there was a new, there's so much environmental work that goes in before. A project can break ground or even get the green light, get
Mm-hmm.
funding. So there was an environmental milestone that allows the Mopac South project to move forward. And so that's where we are now. And this is a project that would be managed by the Central Texas Regional Mobility Authority, CTRMA, which also manages the north side of Mopac, which has a toll lane, as well as that new 183 North project, 183A, and beyond. CTRMA manages a lot of the toll lanes
Yeah.
that you see. TxDOT does as well with some, but CTRMA is kind of like the
Specifically,
big dog
the
behind a
toll
lot of the
lanes.
tolls. Yeah.
So this environmental study that was released is
Mhm.
looking at traffic congestion and how it's been climbing over the years.
Yeah.
But how do they study these numbers? How do they track them?
So what's interesting, when people ask me about projects around Austin and why this, why that, why this, that. So on the south side of town, you have the Edwards Aquifer, so an
Yes.
environmentally sensitive zone, and it's very large. It's not like a small, little footprint like right at Barton Springs or something. This goes all the way pretty much into Hayes County, and even down into San Antonio. Like it's big, and so it is an environmentally sensitive area. And So you have a lot of environmentalists that will fight tooth and nail to not have, new projects built on the south side of town, because they're worried about different environmental impacts. Now, this environmental study that CTRMA has found is, let me see where did I know I wrote down my notes somewhere. Basically, they found that it wasn't going to have a significant. They're doing mitigation measures, for runoff into the Barton Creek watershed. Despite the fact that obviously they take it seriously, as far as the Edwards Aquifer Recharge Zone. But part of what I'm reading in their report is that there's no significant environmental impact that would then require a full environmental impact statement, which is what is interesting. I would imagine that's coming regardless. But so that's where we are. So let's talk about the project. So on the north side of town, you have the Mopac Express lane, right? It's a variable toll lane. What's interesting on the south is that it actually is slated to have 2 non-tolled lanes in both directions. There's a bit, there's some areas down there south that there's some room to grow.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's why you would potentially see 2 toll lanes, which would do the same, those variable toll lanes that you see now up in North Austin, that would run from downtown basically to South Austin. So if you want to take the TxDOT camera, I have a couple of different elements to show you, maps, cameras, and that sort of thing. So this is Mopac at Gaines Ranch Loop, which is very close to Southwest Parkway. Also, what's interesting, there are a lot of flyovers and bridges in this part of town.
We've been hearing a lot about flyovers this week.
Yeah, you've got the flyover right at Mopac and 290. You've got the bridge over Barton Creek. And then you've got the bridge over Lady Bird Lake.
And one in South to be built pretty soon?
Well,
or recommended it should be built.
Yes. You're potentially, maybe you're referring to the Oak Hill Parkway, which is further south of here. You can kind of see it off in the distance. But if you took Mopac towards 290, you'd eventually hit 71, which is where the Oak Hill Parkway construction zone is currently. So yes, new flyovers there at 290 and 71. Those are happening. And that project should be done in 2026. But Mopac South, so let me move forward so you can see this footprint here. So Mopac spans, down into Southwest Austin. So from Cesar Chavez, which is where the current Mopac Express lane up north ends, this would span all the way down basically into Circle C at Slaughter and Mopac. 2 new toll lanes from Cesar Chavez to Slaughter, totaling $825 million. So
wow. That is a pricey project.
It is pricey for sure. Now, it doesn't compare to I-35, but it is definitely not cheap.
It's a big area where they're adding this.
Yeah, and so you have the bridge over Lady Bird Lake, which they're talking about. I should have made my notes a little bit clearer, but because they kind of ping pong everywhere. But there would be the bridge over Lady Bird Lake would widen, but that part would not be tolled. So you'd come off the toll lane and then come on. So we'll see how that would work.
So come off the toll lane, get on a regular lane.
Yeah, I'm assuming you can stay on that left side and then you would pick it back up. That's just me making an assumption, but we'll see how that would all connect.
That's a little tricky to think about.
I know.
I want to see their maps, their projects.
The projects. Well, I'll tell you in a minute how you actually can go. I mean, you can go online and look at it now, but there's going to be an in-person meeting as well, which they had one. I want to say that was in 2024, late 2024. There was one at Austin High. There's going to be another one next month at Bowie High School.
A community discussion on that.
Yeah, which I'll talk a little bit because that comes with a caveat. But so part of the other piece of the puzzle is reconfiguring the exit at Bee Cave Road, rolling right near 2244. That's that top arrow that you see. So it would reconfigure that exit. It would also modify the ramps at Barton Skyway, which is that middle arrow.
Yeah.
And then it would also modify the ramps at Loop 360, which that would be really interesting because that is a big bottleneck if you're on 360 trying to get onto Mopac. Big bottleneck right there. Comes to a light.
Yeah.
So that will be really interesting to see how that unfolds and what would be proposed there. And then also reconfiguring and reducing the merge conflicts down further south at William Cannon and Mopac. And then that would be additional non-toll lanes through that William Cannon corridor, which then a little south of there, the project would wrap up at Slaughter. So, yeah.
Can
Here-
you go back 2 slides?
Yeah, I know. It's very
When
cool.
is this going to be through?
Who knows?
Wait, go forward a little bit. That one, yeah. When
This.
is this going to be done?
So, well, this is the entire project. I mean, we don't know. There's not a date. There's not a kickoff date. There's not a wrap-up date. There is
It's
nothing.
just a plan right
This
now.
is just what we're talking about. Like,
Mm.
you know, there's a couple of interesting points to be considered and maybe a reason to go to these public meetings or to, if you can't go to the public meeting next month, do the online. I'll shift forward so you can see that.
The virtual
Mhm.
meeting.
Yeah, there's a virtual meeting, ph.mopacsouth.com, even if you go to like mopacsouth.com. We also have it linked on KXAN.com in our article. But starting March 9th through May 3rd, there's a public, hearing, if you will, where drivers, residents, et cetera, can share their thoughts.
Concerns.
Mhm. And then
I mean, the renderings look great, but
Oh,
my
yeah. They always
initial
do.
thought is once this project starts, there's so many events that happen in those
know.
areas, and traffic is going to be horrible for Trail of Lights, Austin, ACL,
ACL.
Austin Reggae Fest is down there too. So
Yeah, and I-30. So I was going to say one of the caveats also is that I-35. When you talk about timing, that's a great question because the south part of I-35 is also under construction.
yeah.
So a lot of times that's a bypass. You don't have near the traffic on Mopac that you do on 35 though. So that's something to take into consideration.
In the morning, Mopac can get pretty congested.
Yes, but the actual numbers, I don't know them offhand, but like the number of people traveling on I-35 versus the number of people traveling on Mopac is
Completely different.
very different. Yeah,
Mhm.
because that's an interstate, so that's just natural. I think they said like 200,000 vehicles travel Mopac every day,
Wow.
so that's still a lot of people.
That is.
But it is like when you look at these different corridors that are under construction, and there's just a lot of them.
And they're major corridors too.
I know. It is tough because it's like, you hate to have potentially 2 projects underway at the same time, but also like, why prolong the inevitable?
Mhm. Or why start them all up at the same time?
That too. Like, why do this to us? But if you have a chance to share all these thoughts and opinions at Bowie High School, Tuesday, March 24th. This is in about a month. I will absolutely be there. We'll be following up. I was at the one at Austin High that was, I'm pretty sure it was either late 2024 or early 2025.
How many people were there? Residents.
Not as many as you'd hope. Not as many for how loud the commentary is.
I know, I was about to say,
online.
not as many for all the complaints and comments.
It's like voting, People have all these opinions. They're like keyboard warriors, but then when it comes to voting or when it comes to participating in your civic duties, like it's crickets.
Mhm.
There were plenty of people there, but like, again,
If we want to make an impact.
relative to the number of people that like to talk about it online, not as many.
Yeah. You have a video that you shared with me.
Yes,
Do you want to
let's
watch
look
it?
at the rendering, of course.
Let's see.
Look at it. So this is provided by CTRMA. So this is a rendering of the project. I don't know if you want to like full screen it, because then we can kind of get a good look.
There we
This
go.
is an animation, and all of this is subject to change. So again, two tolled managed express lanes in each direction from
There it is.
yeah, I know. There we go. From Cesar Chavez to
It looks
Slaughter.
It looks very nice.
That's at Slaughter and Mopac, so that's down in South Austin near Circle C. And then this is traveling northbound, heading toward town.
There's that express lane.
Yep.
There we go.
Northbound entrance and then southbound express lane ends. And this would be super helpful. It's just like wild also to think about it. Like you'll be able to take a toll lane like all over town.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as many it's almost like the toll lanes are like surpassing the non-toll tolled lanes.
And I'm already confused at this point of what's a toll lane and what's not. And sometimes I accidentally get on toll lanes and I don't even mean to.
I know. At least the ones here in Austin they have the delineators.
Yeah.
I got on one in Houston years ago, and I'm like, I was supposed to, there was like one lane was HOV, and then one lane was toll, and I had a bunch of girls in my car. We were going to the Beyonce concert, but I was in the toll lane and not the HOV lane. So then I got this big fat bill, and I'm like, wait a minute. And they're like, yeah, you were just supposed to be like one lane over.
But how do they know that?
What? Especially because I'm like, I don't even live here. I don't even go here.
I know.
Do you even go here? So now we're like making it up to William Cannon, which there's like a Costco down here. This is a great part of town. There's a Costco. There's Chewy's. There is an Alamo Draft House, all in that southwest part of town, Circle C and that sort of thing. So it looks like there'd be an entrance and an exit at William Cannon.
That's the entrance.
To the express lane. Yeah.
And it has 2 lanes, the express lane?
Yeah, they would say 2 lanes, which is interesting, right? Because
usually it's just 1.
Yeah, up north you only have 1. But so the pushback also is like, how about more focus on, mass transit and that sort of thing? And I don't disagree. I mean, you think like a light rail line going down from downtown down to Circle C, I think would be wildly popular.
Yeah, I think that people will stop driving cars.
I really feel like that is the case, and there is space there. So I think there's definitely an argument to be made to like, could you theoretically save that center for a light rail line?
There's William Cannon Drive that you were talking about.
I mean, it would be awesome. I think people would really use it coming in from South Austin, but that's not on the plan. At least not right now. That would jump over into like Project Connect.
Yeah. And that's going to take another. Whew.
Yeah. So yeah, it goes all the way up.
I'm just skipping ahead.
I know.
It's a very long video.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested in watching this, it's on YouTube.
Yes. I know that's where we're linking it from right now. But anyways, it's fun to kind of nerd out over these kind of things and just see the progress. And I mean, my goodness, I just feel like we're never going to stop. I'm like, what would be next? Like, let's say that I-35 gets done and then Mopac South is done. I don't know.
Well, then they just have to start a new project.
They would probably.
They'll figure it out.
We got to do. I don't even know if you and I have ever talked about the 45 gap.
What 45 gap?
Well, there's a gap, which actually plays into this South Mopac project, honestly. But basically, like at the bottom of Mopac is SH45, so down southeast. So like SH45 is up north, but SH45 is also down south, and then it kind of also connects to 130. But then there's this like random gap that spans the Hayes-Travis County line.
Yeah,
Hayes County really wants the gap completed. Travis County not as much.
Why?
Because it would put a lot of people, like make it even easier for people to get to Travis County. The argument, though, from Hayes is like, well, they're coming anyways.
Yeah, who cares? People work here. People come to school here. Like, who cares?
I know, but there's like some land acquisition. It's also in the environmentally sensitive zone. My 2 cents on that, no one asked, but is like, let's at least finish Mopac South before we complete that gap.
Yeah, you're right.
But, who knows what's going to happen there.
Speaking of gaps, I wanted to ask you about a story that was trending yesterday on our website.
Oh my God.
And it has to do with these text dot reminding drivers that the gaps in the flyovers are safe.
At 290 and 35.
I don't know. After looking at this, I'm not driving over that.
Listen, it is. We have seen the commentary on social media.
This is crazy.
Pretty funny.
I've seen some pictures on TikTok of people
TikToks,
like actually stopping and taking pictures for themselves.
The Instagram reels.
I'm not driving on that.
They're funny. Listen, I think as you know, I half the time sound like a text autopologist over here. But if it was possible for this thing to fall apart, they would close it. I mean, I do feel at least somewhat confident in TxDOT.
Really?
I mean,
that's a scary gap.
That's me putting a lot of trust in our public servants, clearly. But so there is a plate over it if you drive on the top of it. Just ask Todd Bailey.
This one.
Yeah. And so it's so funny because, like, yes, I see the videos. I look at the comments. They're funny. There's been some funny videos for sure. I did see even on X the other day was like, oh, really? It's structurally sound? Then why are you out there inspecting it? Because they were like, and I'm like, well, isn't that what you would want them to do? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
You can't please them all. And then, like, one of the comments was like, yeah, this is how this looked a year ago. We did a story on it 2 years ago. So, like, this is definitely not new. It's not,
But this is not the only one, right? There's multiple. I remember seeing in our little chit chat of our colleagues here that we sent someone to go take a picture of it, but then they found out there's another one.
Different one. Yeah, I know. That might have been Todd Bailey because I was like, wait, is this the same one? He was like,
maybe not. Maybe there's two.
I know. This is those times where, like, I do feel for the folks at TxDOT who are like, oh my God, something went viral, and like the keyboard warriors are sounding off. But the content has been pretty funny. Like,
it is.
Really? Like the Jennifer Lawrence.
You're one. Barely finding out.
Yeah, so it was so funny. But they say it's structurally sound.
They do say that.
So those engineers, Lord knows, like, I'm sure they don't want this to be
big,
to become national headline if this whole thing collapses. So you would think,
I hope it doesn't collapse.
You would think that if it were at all a possibility that, like, they would shut that down.
Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully.
Lord, please help.
Hopefully. Please watch over our highways and our flyovers and keep us safe.
Yes, people who use that flyover every single day or, like, they're like, yeah, this is not new. Like, it just is trending right now for some reason.
Yeah. My thing is traffic in the morning at a standstill, and then you look over and you're like, oh, that's the ground.
There's a gap right there. I don't love that for me.
No.
I think about that anytime I'm sitting in traffic on a bridge.
Yeah.
Anytime, because they move.
Like, you can feel, like, your car is still, like, but it's, like, shaking.
Get me off this. Like, don't let me be the one who is on a bridge during an earthquake. Like, that would be my luck, Like,
get off that bridge.
Seriously.
Drive on the shoulder.
Bridge. Yes. Literally. No, for real. Like, it's comical for sure.
Yeah. Well, Erica, we went through a lot. We have that article of the Mopac project here on our website as well for anyone.
Yes. Yeah, I know. We also have a lot of past coverage on it. We'll have future coverage. I'll be at that Bowie High School meeting just to see how it goes, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully the next thing we know is we get a bit better of a timeline.
Yeah. For anyone that wants to express what's driving them crazy on the road, where can they do that?
I know. Reach out to me. I mean, I'm erica.brennes@kxan.com. I actually got an email from a lovely mom the other day, Laura, who asked me about 183 North, and she was like, cool, these toll lanes, but, like, when's the project going to be done on the service road? Because she was like, the Oak Knoll intersection is a mess. Sometimes I have to sit through 3 light cycles. Like, so I did reach out to CTRMA about that. They finally actually got back to me this morning. I had to follow up. So I sent her their response. Yeah, it's a lot going on out there.
We're trucking along, like you always say.
But if you reach out to me, I can look into it. And sometimes it'll become my story for the week, but then sometimes there's just, like, bigger stuff going on. This week was like, I'm, like, looking at my list, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much happening. Like, so
always.
Our new weekend anchor, who you'll meet in the morning. She hasn't been on yet because of Olympics, but she's doing a story on Riverside and 35, which has been a big mess. And I was like, yes, please come out. Ava Brengord did the Mopac South story this morning, and there's just so much going on. There's, like, too much for one person to do it all.
Yeah, so much traffic in this little city.
So many projects, yeah.
Well, Erica, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week with another What's Driving You Crazy.
All right, talk to you soon.